This presentation is being brought to you by the Southern University Ag Center, Southern University Intramural Sports, Southern University and A&M College, and the Southern University Counseling Center.
So with COVID-19 and the pandemic going on, it's caused a lot of universities to have to transition to online study. This transition has led to some new challenges for universities, for students, for faculty, and staff. This presentation covers some tips that students can use with this new way of learning, specifically during the pandemic. So some ways to stay organized. Check Banner and Moodle frequently. You never know when your professor is going to change something on there, make an announcement. And I know sometimes you get an email when the teacher puts an announcement on there, but it doesn't always work. And so my advice is to go on there at least once a day and check and see if there are any changes. Also, keep on top of course requirements by creating your own personalized schedule that has all your due dates, your lecture times, time to study, and self-care activities. You want to make sure that you include time that you're not studying in your schedule so that you can take care of yourself as well. Because I know that this online format is creating anxiety for some people. So you want to make sure you take care of yourself. Next, regularly ask questions and reach out to your professors. Then be mindful of time zones. For example, there's a lot of students right now who are going to be taking classes outside of the central time zone. And so if on your syllabus or on Banner, an assignment says it's due at 11 p.m. Central Time, and you live in California, you need to take into account that that means 9 p.m. Pacific Time. Next, creating your workspace. You want to recreate an environment that is good for you, that you typically would study with. For example, if you're the kind of person who would go to the library, maybe take a whole table and space all your material out, you want to do that at home too. Find an area where you can kind of space things out. Also, inform family members and your roommates, if you have them, when you'll be in class, when you'll be taking tests, or working on assignments so that they don't accidentally disrupt you and that they can keep noise to a minimum during that time. And that goes back to creating a dedicated workspace. So you want to keep it free of distractions. So you don't want things around wherever you're working that are going to distract you. If that's your phone, maybe move your phone to the side when you're focusing on assignments. Some study skills. These study skills can be used for during this pandemic, but also when you're taking on-campus classes as well. So first, focus on one task at a time. Multitasking actually can make assignments take longer, and they increase the likelihood of your making a mistake. So if you focus on one assignment at a time, you're actually making it less likely you're making a mistake, and you will probably get your work done in a quicker and more efficient manner. Next, take some breaks regularly. Maybe focus for between 25 to 50 minutes, and then reward yourself with a 5 to 10 minute break. I'd recommend that if you're taking a 5 to 10 minute break, set a timer so that you know when that break is over so you can get back to studying. Next, spend 80% of your time studying new material and 20% reviewing old material. You want to make sure that even if you've already studied it before, you spend that 20% of time studying things you've already done before. Finally, take notes during your online lectures. A lot of people right now, it's hard for them to stay engaged with an online classroom. There's a disconnect between the professor, wherever they are, and you sitting at home. So one way to stay engaged is to make sure you take notes throughout the presentation or the lecture. Another way to stay engaged is also asking questions to the professor. The more you stay engaged, the more you're actually taking from the class, and the more you'll be able to remember later on. Next, a lot of people like to study in groups. If you study well with others, try scheduling study sessions through group video chat, such as Zoom or Google Meet, and schedule these meetings regularly, whether it's once a week, twice a week. Have regular meetings scheduled so that you and your group members know exactly when y'all are going to meet. Shared documents also work well for group presentations when you can't meet in person. Google Docs have great resources where you can create a Word document together or PowerPoint to, for example, if you're working on a group PowerPoint presentation, y'all can all work on the PowerPoint at the exact same time together and see in live time the changes. And finally, check on your group members regularly, especially if someone isn't attending the meetings. You may want to reach out to them because it may not be that they're being lazy. It may mean that with this disconnect of not meeting in person, they actually forget about the meeting. So just check with them regularly. And finally, to end, some general tips to help you through. One, get dressed as if it's a normal day of school. It's easy to just wake up and go to class in your PJs, but trust me, you'll get a lot more done if you actually dress a little bit as if you're going to class or work. Next, establish a routine that works well for you. This can be working out in the morning, eating breakfast, whatever you need to do to give yourself a good morning routine, while also taking into account that you may not be able to go to a gym right now. Maybe you can work out at home. So making it flexible so it's things you can do right now. Improving your Wi-Fi by closing any unnecessary tabs or disconnecting unused devices. This is especially the case for if you are taking an online test and it's timed. Having a lot of tabs open can actually slow down your computer, and it may take it longer for you to complete the test. So you want to close these when you're taking a timed test or doing any assignments. Next, lower the display brightness on your computer to reduce eye strain. And then finally, notify your professors ASAP if you have any tech-related questions. They may not know you're having issues, so just reach out to them. And I'm sure that they'll be able to either give you the right solution or at least be able to communicate you with the appropriate people to help you. And then end with support. During this time of disconnect, you may feel some disconnect. Whenever you need to, reach out to your friends, family, professors, or the University Counseling Center whenever you feel like you're falling behind or you just need to talk to somebody.